Okay.
And that's from Mickey C's.
We got to check this out.
We're going to do that, and then we're going to ask Tom Gore everything he knows about wine.
All right. Oh, there's 2 crab cakes here.
We probably...
Come on in, Tom. You can get in here.
Probably should...
Man,
we're going to do it.
You invite me in the same time that the food shows up.
That's
a good timing on my part. That's what I'm talking about.
Mike, do you mind if I give an introduction to Tom Gore?
Please.
Tom Gore is a farmer.
Why would I mind?
Well, I'm kind of being polite.
A farmer.
A farmer.
He's kind of a big farmer, ain't
He
he?
is a big farmer. I first met him, his internet picture, he's got a big beef rib in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's been on my show up in Santa Barbara a few times, and AM 830 KLAA on Sundays at 5. And he knows a lot about wine, so we brought him in to talk about wine, his passion, and how he got into it. Chicken wings, crab cakes. What would you suggest with chicken wings with the wine you got here?
Oh, I'd probably go with the Chardonnay for the chicken wings.
And then the crab cakes?
Probably the Sauvignon Blanc, but you know, since they're fried and they're crispy, they'll both hold up well against the Cabernet too.
Cabernet.
If you like them, drink them. That's what I say.
I just have to ask one question. These crab cakes are really good. How much are they? $11 for 2?
I'm reaching over
That's
you,
a
Tom.
deal. That's a deal.
Reach
So
away.
we do here.
Reach away.
Very good. $11. Mickey's
what we
Looks
crab
great.
cakes. I give it a thumbs up. So.
Oh man, you're in
There
a
you have it.
positive mood today.
Got to be positive.
Richard Bender from Philippe's in downtown LA says you were kind of negative the last couple weeks, and now...
Richard says nothing of the sort. I know
Have you
Richard
been to
better.
Philippe's? Have you ever been to Philippe's in LA?
I have never been to
All right,
Philippe's in LA.
it's been there, what, Mike, since 1923, 1928. They do a French dip sandwich. There's an argument between them and a restaurant called, the other restaurant that does the French dip. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but there's an argument who invented the French dip. But as far as Mike and I go, it's, and they do have Prisoner by the glass there. It's kind of a freaky place. It's an old school place with a great wine list.
Well, it takes an offer to come on a show like this to get me out of Northern California and come down to the lovely Southland.
Yeah, well, tell our viewers and a little bit about yourself, your history, and how you got started in the wine business.
Well, I'm a second-generation Alexander Valley grape grower. My dad was offered 2 jobs coming out of college. One was farming chili peppers in New Mexico, and one was farming wine grapes in Sonoma County. So we could be having a completely different discussion about salsa today if it weren't for his decision to go into the wine business. So I'm very happy that that's where
Is your dad still with us?
Nah, he passed a few years ago.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Then he would know what the Scoville index is.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's the measurement of heat for peppers. And we had some beef jerky on here a couple weeks ago, and now the hottest pepper now is the Carolina Ghost Pepper. Carolina Ghost Pepper is now the hottest.
Ghost pepper, yep.
So that's for your dad. A little trivia for your dad.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that.
I
the
can't.
ghost
No.
pepper.
I don't want anything higher than medium.
No.
Yeah.
Better have some ice cream. That's all I can say.
So anyway, we've got a Sauvignon Blanc, a Cabernet, Chardonnay, what else?
And a reserve cab.
And a reserve cab.
And we also make a field blend, but we don't have that bottle here today.
Okay.
We make 5 total wines. These 3, the Chardonnay, the Sauvignon Blanc, and the Cabernet, you'll find for anywhere between $12 and $15.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty well available at Vaughn's where you've worked.
Right.
You can get them at
Yeah.
Ralph's.
Yeah.
Met with some of those folks today, and it's just been a real fun deal getting it out there and getting people to try the wine.
It says here, my notes, that 2014 Cabernet is aged for 16 months in French and American oak, and the result is a dark red color with a very pleasant first and last sip. That was my review.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you enjoyed the last sip as much as you did the first.
Well, it's kind of, actually it's a compliment, because sometimes when I drink wine, I have to get used to it. And I like the first sip of it, meaning that was a compliment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All I could say is what I've had here. What are we drinking here?
You have the, I think I
You
gave
had the
some
Chardonnay first.
Chardonnay.
Want to try the
give it.
Sauvignon Blanc a little bit?
Yeah, I'll give that.
I might have to steal one of those glasses too.
They're here for you.
Alrighty.
I gotta give it a little shot myself.
Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah, so Sauvignon, to me, what I really try to focus on is how do we start to layer the flavors in the vineyard, right? Like, I think that generally, between barrels and yeast, there's a good story told about how things happen in the winery. And what I'm really excited about, or really proud with the ability to, with these wines, is to talk about how the how the flavor layering starts in the field, and the different light regime and the different amounts of growth and how you control that really play a major role in how the final product tastes.
Where is Alexander Valley?
Alexander Valley is the most north region in Alexander Valley. And the town of Healdsburg, where I live, is kind of where Dry Creek, Russian River Valley, and Alexander Valley all come together. And it's about 22 to 25 miles long, and at its widest point, it's about 2 miles wide.
You know, I get these press releases all the time talking about wines from that region, and they always say, cool summer nights have led to this harvest. And what does that mean?
Well, really, almost all high quality growing regions, grapes to make really nice wines really need cool nights.
Okay.
It really helps maintain the acid level. So as the different amount of heat you get during the day makes it better for Pinot Noir if it's cool, makes it better for Cabernet if it's warm. So Alexander Valley is one of the warmest growing regions in Sonoma County, and it's Cab country, Cab Sauvignon Blanc Chardonnay.
I got a layman's question for you then. Do you harvest the grapes at night?
We harvest grapes at night and early in the morning. Usually by the time at noon or 1 o'clock rolls around, unless there's a good fog layer and it's really cool, we stop picking the grapes.
Now, how many acres are we talking about?
I farm about 1,600.
Wow.
I got about 150 people working right now, and it's a very busy time of the year. I'm glad I got great people I work with, so I could sneak away and try one of these chicken wings.
Hey, what is it? I have this in my notes. What is a field blend?
So a field blend is like when you take a whole bunch of different varieties and kind of ferment them together and put them together and show off what a single vineyard can do with a bunch of different varieties mixed together. The old school Italian field blends had all these varieties planted intermittently. Now, what I do is I have 5 acres of Malbec next to 5 acres of Petit Verdot, next to 5 acres of Cab, next to 5 acres of Merlot. We do pick them separate and then put a nice blend together at the end, but it all comes from the same field.
Gina, see if you can find Tom's special friend on there. Mike's wife wanted to know about this special friend here, if you can find that. There you go.
Oh yeah,
Now,
my
who's
wife
that?
wanted to know what the dog's name.
Well, the white one's name is Moose and the brown one's name is Dodger. Dodger unfortunately passed away, but he was 15. He had a good run, and he was going to work with me until the last week of his life. So that's a good run for a lab. And now we've got a young black lab named Hurley, who is Hurley, like
okay.
Harley with a
Okay,
U.
okay.
And he's most famous for taking a roll of toilet paper and shredding it at any given moment
Okay, yeah.
throughout the entire house.
That sounds like my dog. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I call him the Hurricane.
Yeah.
What's the biggest misperception that people would have about a wine that would be able to be open like Mike Bingley would open it?
Well, screw top wine. In the old days, screw top wine. That was that you go down to the liquor store and get yourself some screw top wine. And if it had a cork, that was highfalutin. But I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's not exactly the case anymore.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that we've realized is that you don't get cork taint when you don't have a cork, right? So that's one of the reasons why you've seen some wines go that way. I think it's interesting to me that mostly what you see them in right now is Sauvignon Blancs, maybe a little Rosé, maybe a few Chardonnays, but it's really in the refreshing wines where you are, it's cold and you're opening it up. You still see that our Chardonnay and our Cabernet are corked.
Rosés seem to be hot
Not
right now.
corked bad, but
I know,
corked
yeah,
with a cork is what I
Right.
mean. Yeah, rosés are doing really well. I really love drinking rosés from all over
That's
the world.
Tom Gore.
Yeah. Tom Gore is in the
And
house.
so a little bit
Screw
about
top.
the vineyard itself. Can our people visit you, or are the gates locked?
Most of the time the gates are locked, but I've been known to show people around from time to time that want to check out what we do up there and drive around on those dirt roads and figure out a spot to sip on a glass of Sauvignon Blanc, Chard, Cab, whatever.
You are our first winemaker farmer to come through here at Rocco's Tavern in Pasadena. We're here every Monday at 3 p.m. and of course the show repeats itself on Facebook, YouTube, and then on Spectrum on Saturdays and Sundays. I think this is a dirty little secret, but I'm going to give it away anyway. When you go into a restaurant, and they serve wines by the glass. And I know your wine is available at supermarkets and restaurants throughout California and the United States. I'm just going to say what I do. I always ask the bartender how long the bottle's been open.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because if they're going through it pretty quick, you know you're going to get a nice fresh pour. But if it's been open for a couple of days, you may not.
Did you know that, Mike? So like when you go in, and Mike likes it, what's that city you always go up to? Lone Pine.
Pine, yeah.
Mike's the king of Lone Pine.
No, I wouldn't say that, but yeah. No, I have a really nice restaurant. I go up there and they have the finest wines. I don't believe they have your wine though.
So yeah, but I always tell my people, if it's radio or television or if I'm writing an article, is that don't hesitate to ask them to open a fresh bottle of wine.
Yeah, and usually they'll tell you. They'll be straight up with you about how long it's been open and how it's been treated. But I definitely agree that that if it's within a few hours, it's fine. In fact, some wines get better in the first hour as they're opening. A young wine or an old wine can open up a little more, give you a little bit more expression. In fact, with some older wines, I've gotten to the bottom before they started tasting beautiful and was disappointed that I didn't wait that hour, right?
Speaking of that, being open, go ahead, Mike.
But no, I was going to say, who are you bullshitting? Excuse my language. You're not going to order a glass of wine. I know you. You're going to get a bottle or two.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying for the regular people, our family and friends out
You
there.
start with a glass anyway,
right? Start with a glass and finish a glass.
Oh, no. Let's start with a bottle.
But
then
that's
you know exactly.
That's also a really good way to get a try of something too, and make sure that you like it. But you're right, bottle it is.
Yeah, Yeah,
I
this
wanted
is
to ask
really
you
good.
about
This
the,
is tasty. I really like it.
Okay, as far as the Cabernet, we decided that it's about 13 or 14 bucks at the supermarket. Does this need to be decanted, or what's your feeling on that?
You can. I would say generally no. For 2014 Cabernet, my goal is to have this thing be varietally correct, so it tastes like a Cabernet, but that it's approachable at a young age. So this reserve Cabernet next to it, I would definitely say, which is also a 2014, would probably need to be splashed. I think that would be a little tighter with a 100% new French oak. And this is the one that would benefit to being open for 15 or 20 minutes, up to an hour before you drink it.
Then I got a good question about this one here, because this is the higher end one.
Yeah.
Would you suggest to buy 2 bottles of this, because drink one now and save one for a few years from now? Is this wine here going to get better in the bottle, or is it ready to drink now?
Yeah, that wine is going to get better in the bottle, but it's also good to drink now. But it's a much more intense style. I think that kind of talks a little bit to like what I try to do in the field. So with the Reserve Cab, for example, we're going to pick these really small clustered variety clones of Cabernet. The ones that have the most intensity, they're going to be a little bit more of that intense tannin or the chalkiness that you would feel in a heavy red wine, where the other Cabernet is going to be a little bit more fruit flavor, a little softer, so that it's more approachable at a young age.
Okay. Well, you're watching my buddy Mike Bingley and I. It's Peter Dills. This is Tom Gore. He's a winemaker, farmer. We're getting up to a couple just minutes left in the show.
Did Dean have a question? Did you have a question, Dean?
Would you like to answer to the French lip sandwich?
Coles.
Coles, exactly.
Yeah, so it's
The
Coles.
full name of it is called Coles Pacific Electric Buffet.
Ah.
So they both started in 1908, and they both have different stories about how they came about, but they both claim it as well.
All right, because I just had a brain hemorrhage and I couldn't remember the name of this Coles. But yeah, Coles and Philippe's downtown LA, two friggin' institutions, that's for sure.
And to answer your question directly, I would always suggest buying 2 bottles of wine.
Right, of course.
Maybe 3?
Well, 6 and you get the additional 10% off.
Yeah, right?
Well, I really like this, and I've liked the is that a Chardonnay I had there?
Yeah.
Chardonnay. Actually, the Chardonnay worked for me more so than this.
Well, and that's kind of what we try to do, is do enough that there's a little something for everybody, you know?
Okay, we got to go. We're out of time.
We got to go, but we want to thank Tom Gore. When you're up north, TomGore.com, I'm guessing.
TomGoreVineyards.com.
TomGoreVineyards.com. For now, I'm Peter Dills.
And I'm Mike Bingley, and that's Tom Gore.
Thank you.